Good morning and welcome to our weekly edition of the Betting Connection podcast. My name's Chris and I've just seen my wife and my son off to the airport for their 2-week trip to Buenos Aires. I'm home alone and I'm here with my co-host Rob. Rob, how are you doing? I'd like to think that you're doing as well as me, but that's pretty hard to beat. Tell me how you're doing.
You make it sound like you have an awful wife, but I know her and she's great. So stop telling these lies.
It's nothing about her. It's all about the freedom and the lack of responsibility that most lives have. So it's just
Yeah, that must be
just a
good.
nice feeling to kind of do what I want when I want, like back in the good old days. So yeah, it's not about her or him. Obviously, it's all about freedom and space and time. So yeah, no, all good.
Freedom! Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And Champions League this week. Some drama, penalties. Did you catch it all?
I catch most of it. Didn't watch everything live, but I definitely watched the highlights of most matches. And yeah, we had some, I think, one of the best matches so far in the Champions League with Liverpool PSG again. Both matches turned out great, and yeah, PSG probably deserved to win it. Like I like it that they just kept
Probably,
trying to play football.
probably.
Probably, yeah.
Only probably. I
I
thought,
know, I
I
know,
thought
I
they,
know.
I
Only,
thought they were
yeah.
fan. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were fantastic in both legs. And Slot can talk all he likes about the best game he's ever been involved in, but it was because of PSG. Liverpool gave about the first 10 minutes of the second leg, and there was a little spell in the second half. But other than that, it was 180 minutes of PSG being good for me.
Yeah, coming from an Arsenal fan, of course.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
defending
the
it
whole
out.
idea with football. That's what I like. Like it's always it's yeah, a matter of opinion. And I think the slot always is really good at turning it in such a way that it sounds quite good for him. So but yeah. PSG, yeah, I think they have it now that they lost like those key players in Mbappe and Neymar. Now they finally found a team, and Dembele. Oh, I actually heard about an interview that he had, and there was this reporter going, and he asked like, "What's your favorite foot to play with? Like, where to kick the ball with?" And he's like, "The right foot." And he said, "But and which foot do you take the penalties?" He said, "Left foot."
Yeah, no, it's crazy. When you watch him play, actually, you just don't actually. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. You just don't know what his strong foot is.
Nah, I think he doesn't know either.
It's yeah, fantastic. No, they've really impressed me, and yeah, it was they played really well. They thoroughly deserved it over the course of the two matches. And I am joking a little bit. Obviously, I like winding you up as much as anything
I
else, so it's all good. And what about the controversy from the penalty shootout in the Madrid match? What did you make of that?
I didn't like it. I thought it was very clumsy and very like I saw it. I saw it happening, and I saw the signs that the referee made with his hands, but the Dutch commentary didn't see it. So he was like all of a sudden, huh? They missed. It came across very yeah, I'm not sure. And on top of that, I think it's such a controversial rule or thing to have in such a big game. I don't know, and we didn't even get the right views, I think, as well. Like if you see it, it's kind of hard. Somebody made the argument that normally if you would hit with both feet, it would have like a different effect on the ball. Like it would spin differently, but this one didn't. Like it spun the same way if you would hit just with one.
Yeah, I think that's the key part here as well, Rob, is that there was no like advantage or foul play. Like we have seen a double hit from penalties in the past, but they're normally quite obvious. This
Mhm.
one, I mean, come on, like it just didn't change anything. I mean, I also don't understand because I've had conflicting information as well that some people say, oh, there's a sensor in the ball, so they knew that it doubled. He touched it twice, but then other people say that this semi-automatic offside isn't about a chip in the ball; it's about all the cameras and AI. So I still don't actually know if that's right or not. But either way, yeah, it's not an obvious one, is it? And I think that it's
Very
incredibly
harsh on
hard. And
Atletico.
the magnitude of the match, there's no concrete evidence to say one way or the other. So just let it go and let it be. It was he was lucky to in a way to score the penalty, bearing in mind that he slipped, and it should have counted.
Yeah, I think so as well. But it's not gonna change. Who do you think
It's
is
not
favorite for the Champions League from this point?
favorite. Oh, I mean, you have to say Real Madrid just because of Real Madrid, but PSG do look. I think anyone can still win it at this point. Like I do think Barcelona are good as well, and they got a bit of a nicer half of the draw. But don't rule out Bayern Munich either or Inter Milan like on that side. So I don't know honestly. As an Arsenal fan, I think if we find a way of getting past Real Madrid, we've got as good chance as anyone as well. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's quite open, and I think some of the names that we're seeing, your Real Madrid's, Bayern Munich's, are more scary by reputation than what they actually are. You look at Real Madrid and their season so far; they don't worry me massively. Like as an Arsenal fan, I prefer to play Real Madrid than Liverpool. Liverpool have been better than Real Madrid this season.
Mm.
Like, do you know? So yeah, it's scary about because Real Madrid just seem to find a way. They have some kind of voodoo magic in the Champions League, and if they don't, then yeah, they do seem to get bailed out by an incredible amount of luck as well. So I don't know. It's hard to say, but then you've got like the Inter Milan that always find a way and structured of playing that style of football in the tournament knockout as well. So I don't know. Who do you think?
I think it's a very interesting question, and if you like debating all of these teams, and I'm thinking about it as well, it's very interesting as well, like different styles, and like it could happen on any given day for like Barcelona. Paris Saint-Germain impressed, I think, probably the most to everyone. But then again, you have Inter, who had like this specific playing style with three at the back. That's really unorthodox as well if you compare it to the other styles. And then, yeah, as you said, you have Real and Bayern who can always deliver on any given day. So very interesting, by the way, very interesting. I'm not sure. I think might PSG at the moment, the way they're playing at least. And I think that they can rest players as well if they really want to during the weekend because it's no priority for them. The Liga, it's already wrapped up for them. So
Yeah, I think that's a key point, and one that I actually heard on an Arsenal podcast this morning talk about Real Madrid. And even though their matches before and after are not massively difficult, every point counts right now in La Liga. So that is a thing. Sometimes in La Liga, around this time, even though it's normally Madrid or Barca that win it, there is normally like a little bit of a runaway. It doesn't always go really late into the season. Generally, one or the other is better and normally got it quite wrapped up. So I think the fact that it's such a close league this year does actually benefit the teams that are playing, Real Madrid and Barcelona as well. And like you say, PSG got it wrapped up. Even Arsenal, to some respect, can rest a little bit. I think top four should be safe. So yeah, interesting. I find it interesting. I'm looking forward to it. We haven't played Real Madrid in 20 years. And yeah, maybe PSG or maybe Villa. I'd like to see Villa against PSG. I think they could cause some problems as well. Who knows?
who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, let's crack on. Just before we go on to this weekend's football, last week, yeah, I mean, we didn't have loads of picks last week because, as we've said, finding value seems to be becoming harder and harder as the season goes on. We had one real standout mention last week with Go Ahead Eagles at 3.3. That came
Yeah.
in. Did you have a nibble on that yourself?
Yeah, definitely. And I watched the game for bigger parts as well. And they were, even though the scoreline was just 3-2, they were very convincing and they played very well. And I think NEC got a consolidation goal at the very end of that game to make it look a bit nicer than it was. But yeah, Go Ahead Eagles is a team in Holland that's very lower mid-table normally. And last season they already did a very good job by qualifying for some European places. And this year they seem to have another run now. They have sold most of their best players. They've got a lot of new players in, but they did a great job again. And the two wins over PSV definitely helps keep the players very motivated. And I think the belief that they are now a team that could be chasing those European spots. So I definitely have a pick on them as well this week.
Okay, yeah, we'll come to that. And other than that, like another good call, I thought we both thought this was a really good price last week was Roma, a better than even money. That one came home. That was your bet of the week as well. The ones that let us down, Villarreal was that was the disappointing one for me. Villarreal, I thought they were going to get a win there. They didn't. And even though I wasn't hot on it, remember we spoke about fading Heidenheim last week with Hoffenheim. I wasn't massively behind that one, especially at the price, which I thought was a little bit low on Hoffenheim. And it turned out to be as a draw. And it was just about an even money weekend. You would have made money if you followed this last week. You would have made money if you followed our Big Gun Acca and had the 2 goals ahead, Rob, because the shock of the weekend, full stop last week, was Bayern Munich. What happened there? Losing at home.
I think the whole Bundesliga lost at home.
It
Bayern
was crazy
Leverkusen
last
lost
week,
at home
yeah.
as well. And was it Dortmund? I think that didn't happen
Dortmund
since
lost,
the
yeah.
80s. That was the first time since the 80s that all three of those big clubs lost at home.
But Bochum,
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 yeah.
Bochum,
I
sorry,
think they were
Bochum.
leading convincingly, and then the red card really hurt. And I think it was a strange one as well, in a way. I saw it like the Bayern Munich player was kicking, like they were both going for the ball, but the Bayern Munich defender actually got there first and he passed the ball. But when he passed, like his follow through from his leg landed on the ankle of the other player. So I don't know, like with VAR and slow motion, it definitely looks bad. But then again, he like clearly strikes the ball first and he follows through and he doesn't know where the action gonna end if he's in that moment. So
Yeah, I didn't see it myself, but as I say, you would have won that at the Big Gun Acca because they were 2 up. Everything else came in, but well, you would have it would have been less odds because the Barcelona match was suspended
yeah.
due to the death of the coach. And yeah, like I say, it was more or less an even weekend. I do like moving on to this weekend. I'm really quite excited about speaking about some of these matches because there seemed to be more potential value this weekend.
Oh,
And yeah, I feel like I've struggled to find, and I feel like we're scraping the barrel sometimes trying to find those good picks around the even money, just under. This weekend, I feel like there's some that stand out, and I'm going to go straight into England and straight into one which for me is standout. Nottingham Forest against Ipswich. This is even money for Forest to win. Rob, talk to me.
yeah, I saw that as well. I'm really curious about all the matches that you have written down. I have a couple, and this is one of them as well. Definitely after their win against Manchester City, where they hold out for such a long time, and then eventually got the winner. Great job on the run, on the track for Champions League. Ipswich is not in a great form. I can't understand that price either. So that price is definitely going down close to kickoff.
It's the pride, like it's just generous, isn't it? The people that have listened to this pod know that I'm not the biggest of Nottingham Forest fan, and I think that's unfair. It's just because I've personally seen them up close and didn't think much, and yeah, I don't know, like, but they're proving me wrong more than they're not. Like last week I was leaning towards Man City, and it was another Forest win, so I can't knock them, but this is generous. Ipswich are in a terrible run of form at the moment. 7 of the last 8 they've lost, and yeah, like where is this price coming from? Even money on a Nottingham Forest who have maintained their form, really.
Yeah,
Maybe it's away from home. They have lost 3 on the bounce away from home, so maybe it's that. But you're talking much trickier games to Newcastle, Fulham, and Bournemouth, which are hard. All of them are hard away from home.
Yeah, and I think they played lately, right, in the FA Cup, and then it was a 1-1 draw when Nottingham was playing at home. So maybe that factors in the price as well. But even though I think that result from Nottingham against Manchester City would really get the players pumped, really believe that they can go and chase for Champions League spots this season. And these are the kind of matches that they really need to win. So beside all the stats, I think the bookies make up the stats really well, better than we do. But if you keep in mind like the emotional factor and the human factor, I think this is a Nottingham win.
And just to put some substance to that as well, Nottingham Forest are unbeaten to teams currently in the bottom half. And not only are they unbeaten, they've won 11 out of 12 of those matches against teams currently in the bottom half.
That's
So that's
why
an
I
incredible
like you, stat man.
that's incredible. That's incredible consistency against lower level teams, and Ipswich definitely come under that bracket. We know that anything can happen in football, but double your money on a team with those statistics. Ipswich in terrible form. They've only won once at home all season. That was to Chelsea, weirdly, but they won once all season at home in the league. It's hard to see anything other than an away win.
Definitely at those odds. Official pick,
Definitely at those odds.
both
But
of
yeah,
us.
get on now if you can. And it's even money right now. Yeah, I can't imagine it's staying there, like you say.
Exactly. I have another match that I
What
like, and I have another
in the Premier
match.
League?
Yeah, in the Premier League.
Go
Um,
on.
Wolves. Wolves away from home for
Mm.
even money at my book at least 2.1 at the moment.
Yeah,
Southampton.
tell me. I looked at this. I looked at this and was also liking it, and then a little hesitant. Tell me why you're big on this one.
Definitely the price, and Southampton just seems like the how you call it in English, I'm not sure, but in Dutch we have a saying. It's the black sheep of the family, at least in the Premier League at the moment, and 9 points only. And for Wolves, this I think again. It's not over even money for nothing. Wolves is not playing that well. They don't have Cunha along the lines, although they surprised me with that 1-1 draw because you thought Everton had a better chance last week. I think Wolves put out a good performance, was quite in control of the ball, had quite some chances as well to win that match. So I think they can manage even without Cunha. And these are the type of matches as well. Like if they want to separate them from the pack and want to make sure they not get involved in the relegation fight, you have to win that game against Southampton. So that's why I think with the price in mind for over even money, I think it's also a good price. Although if I must like rate both of them, Wolves and Nottingham Forest, I rather spend more money on my Nottingham pick at the moment because they're playing a lot better. But then again, Wolves is a good shout.
Yeah, I obviously you can trust Nottingham Forest more than you can trust Wolves, and I think that's what you mean by
Yeah,
that, and obviously so. I do think that this is where sometimes you can take advantage of the bookies and find value because the odds are probably just because of league positioning. If Wolves had Cunha playing, I'd be all over this. But then saying that, if Cunha was available, maybe the odds wouldn't be as generous.
exactly.
But yeah, it's hard. It's difficult because Wolves don't show you much to have a bit of faith in them. But look, their run and their form is bad as well. But they've had a real hard run of it. I mean, their last four away matches have read Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Bournemouth, and they won the Bournemouth game. That was their last time away from home. That is as hard as it gets in the Premier League. And Southampton just lose to everybody, so it's not even worth looking who they've played and
Yeah,
when they
you're
played them.
easy to forget that they actually beat Aston Villa, they beat Bournemouth, they came close to Liverpool. So they were not playing that bad. I think the slip up against
Mm.
Fulham looks a little bit better, worse. Like you thought they had a chance there, but I think they did all right lately.
Yeah, and on top of that, Wolves have actually won the last 6 meetings in a row against Southampton. So got a really good record. Unbeaten in nine.
Again, I like it, stat man.
Unbeaten in nine. So look, yeah, like it. I liked it initially. Then the first thing I did, I looked at it all, I liked it, and then I quickly checked to see if Cunha was still suspended. Saw that he was and thought, oh, I'll let it go. But now we've had a chat on it. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
does
think
make a lot of
last week you
sense.
also made your decision on Cunha,
Yeah.
and it
And
went.
then yeah, it let me down. It let me down.
Not
Yeah.
really. You said also you can also take the
I did
draw.
say, yeah. Yeah, I
So
did. I said double chance. Yeah, that's
yeah, you
correct.
said the
Actually,
double
I was
chance.
hot on the Everton win. Everton win would have made it a brilliant weekend last week. That was the one. But I think Wolves were fair. You know, they earned their draw. It wasn't like they sneaked it neither. It was a fairly even game and could have gone either way. So yeah, it wasn't a case that I thought Everton would dominate a bit more. It wasn't like that. So yeah, look, I don't think Wolves are as bad sometimes, and I think they are definitely more capable than some of the other teams down the bottom.
Okay.
So let's back them a better than even money. I have no actual statistical reference for this at all. It's just one of those games that you look at and think, ooh, David Moyes playing against West Ham. There's not many more games he's going to be motivated than this one. Playing at home, Everton were and have been in good form, better than even money as well. West Ham still flatter to deceive. They are potentially dangerous, which is why it doesn't make it a strong bet by any stretch. But David Moyes wants to get one back at West Ham, better than even money at home. What do you think?
I think that is the what I like, that you have a little bit more historical experience about the Premier League, and those kinds of insights are very interesting. I never thought of it. I didn't hear about it either. I didn't look into that much in that match either. Otherwise, I would probably have read it somewhere. But yeah, as I said before, I'm quite big on the emotional factors in playing in, because I think the bookie set it up correctly, and then some emotional factors factor in a little bit more. And this could definitely be a shout. What's the price on it?
It's 2.05. 2.05. So look, we've mentioned three matches there, all even money or better. And yeah, it's just one of those. It's not like it isn't done through research. It's just done on, you know what? I think West Ham undervalued David Moyes. He won a European trophy with them. They've had all sorts of problems this year. And David Moyes has jumped in at Everton, shown, you know what? He's actually a very good manager. They're
Yeah, yes.
unbeaten in eight. They're unbeaten in eight. They're solid. They're completely safe from relegation, whereas they were in danger. They're unbeaten even with the problems from early in the season. Everton are unbeaten at home to teams in the bottom half, well, even higher than that, including Fulham, who are in ninth. So, yeah, they haven't lost to anyone near the bottom. They've beaten Wolves and Leicester resoundingly 4-0 at both of those games for teams that are lingering around West Ham. So, yeah, just a little, lean towards that through pure, well, it is based on form as well. Everton have been in good form and the David Moyes factor.
Okay, three good prices. We need to have
Three
two
good
winners
prices.
at least.
One other good price is I'm not going to back them because it's Man United, but I did look at it. Think Man United at 1.83 was is that decent as well?
I didn't even look who they're playing against. Who are they playing?
Away at Leicester.
I'm not. I just can't. Like, I just can't bet Manchester United at the moment. It's very hard to tell. Even though Leicester is a team that's been awful, not scoring any goals with a striker as a manager and a Dutch manager, so it's a little bit hard to watch as well. I always root for root, but yeah, it looks like a decent price, but I'm not. I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, I will stay away from it. I just found it interesting. Leicester haven't scored a goal in 5 league matches, so
Do
and
you think he's gonna
United.
play him himself?
I think he'll probably do better. I
He
think
looks
he's got
quite
more
fit.
chance.
I think he
Yeah,
could
he does
definitely.
look. He does look well, actually. To be fair, I think he looks better now than he did when he was a player. Actually,
Yeah, that's
he
true.
looks.
That's true.
I like his style a little bit more now. But yeah, I think he would definitely have more chance of
Like
scoring if he
partner
was
up with
playing.
Vardy. How good would that be for the
Yeah,
weekend?
why not? Yeah, that'll probably cause many problems for Man United. Yeah, I just thought Man United, they didn't play well against Arsenal. They caused them some problems second half, but that first half, Arsenal should have, if they had a striker or any kind of level of breaking down deep blocks. I mean, it was just all one-way traffic, and then they got a bit of confidence with a goal, and they looked okay. There were certain things that you can look at sometimes with Man United, and you think, yeah, there's enough there. But then, and they got through in the week as well in Europa League, so maybe something building there, but who knows? But I think it's a good price, but I don't trust United enough.
Okay. You have
Okay,
any
let's move
thoughts?
on. Let's move on to Holland.
Okay.
Rob,
Yeah.
because I saw a lot of value this weekend in Holland. I just kept seeing good prices, but I'm not sure if I'm correct with that or not. So this is why I need you to talk to me. So
Verify.
the Holland lineup. What have you got? What are you thinking?
Oh, now you have to go first. Then I can go at it.
Okay, so the first one that let me just bring up the prices. 1 second. The prices, so the ones that stood out for me without looking at anything. Firstly, FC Utrecht at home, okay, to NEC. That's 1.8.
Yeah.
Then I also had, we talk about go ahead Eagles. It wasn't so much value. Ajax again, 1.8 on this mad winning run. I also thought, why the bookies keep price? I know they're playing Assad. And then this one's more of a feeling, but it's FC Twente against Feyenoord at better than even money. So they're just looking at the fixture list. Those three just stood out to me as, liking that.
Yeah, FC Utrecht, lately a little bit unconvincing. But then again, if you look at NEC, it's definitely unconvincing as well. They bought a couple of older players in the January, but it didn't help them that much. They've been performing really bad this season. And yeah, you're hoping that FC Utrecht with two very marginal wins against NAC Breda and Willem II, and Willem II is playing awful at the moment in Holland. But they managed to win those matches. They're still continuing for the Champions League spots. They're still in third place, though. So I thought as well, this is a must win for them. If they can make it three in a row, they didn't play that well at home this season at all. So they definitely want to try and give something back to the support that they always get in Utrecht. So yeah, I like the price of Utrecht. FC Twente, Feyenoord. Wow, that's tough. I think it's a very hard match to predict. You can't say anything about Feyenoord. They sometimes show up. Most of the time it was in Europe, not so much in the league. FC Twente is actually a team that's quite good at home. Also, very loud supporters and fans. So definitely the biggest game I think in Holland. No, you said it right. Ajax AZ is the biggest match in Holland.
Well, let's just stop a minute on FC Twente. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling here. And also, like, Robin van Persie, like, why are we just assuming this guy is going to get the job done? Like, he's not had any experience. He didn't really do well at Herenveen neither. So why? I don't know. I was thinking about this a lot over the last couple of weeks because I backed Feyenoord, if you remember, when it was kind of his first league match at home, thinking the feel-good factor. Feyenoord do have a lot of injuries, and we don't even know if Van Persie knows what he's doing. And FC Twente are just a mad, solid team at home. They're unbeaten all season at home.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're definitely right. So
So it was just a little bit like we're just being a little bit romantic here with the Van Persie thing because ultimately, like, he's unproven and he's taken on a big club, and I think the club are being romantic more than actually because he's some in the know mad coach, generational coach. I've not heard that from anybody inside the game. So I think there's an opportunity here. I don't think you often get FC Twente at 2.2 at home against many teams. They're unbeaten. The only thing I say, they haven't really played the big. Well, they drew at home with Ajax. They haven't played PSV or FC Utrecht at home, or obviously not Feyenoord yet. or Azad, but everybody else they've played and won all of them except two. They are pretty sound home team. So I am going to back. It's a lean. It's definitely not like a mad official pick, but it's a lean and it's 2.20. I just think you've got to take that price.
Yeah, it's a good price. If you want to be a little bit safer, I also like FC Twente or draw. And then if you go under 3.5 goals, and that's also even money. And I just don't see a lot of goals in those matches. Feyenoord has a very tough time scoring goals at the moment. They have sold Jimenez, who made quite a lot of them. And now you have Ueda, who's coming back, but he never convinced. You have Carranza, unproven. And as you said, a lot of injuries as well in the Feyenoord squad. And they have a tough time scoring goals, definitely against opposition that defends a little bit deeper than your Inter Milans or your Manchester Cities. They didn't score against NAC Breda. They didn't score against NEC. So could be tough time scoring for them against FC Twente for sure. So yeah, I like it.
What was the price? Even money, did you say?
Yeah,
For under three and a half.
2.005 to be exact. So that's FC Twente or draw and under 3.5 goals. If you want to just play the goal line, under 2.5 goals is over money as well. Exactly the same price, 2.05.
So under 2.5. How much was it? Sorry, what's the odds on under 2.5?
If you just play the goal market, under 2.5 goals, without FC
Yeah.
Twente or draw, it's 2.05.
Ah, right. Okay. But with FC 20 and under three and a half, it's also the same price. Okay. Got you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a nice separate play as well. So, yeah, some different options there. Ajax, what's going on with this price? I know, well, I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts first. What do you think on this price, Ajax
Yeah,
1.8?
the price is there because Ajax is not convincing. Definitely not last weekend. Didn't convince in Europe against Eintracht as well. I think they are a little bit tired. They had to play a lot of second team or like the not the first team players. A little bit more relation, so they probably already prioritized the competition. And AZ is a team that is actually playing really well. They really outplayed Tottenham in the first leg, not so much in the second leg. But I think that's why the price keeps on being quite high on Ajax. Good price though. Definitely if you keep in mind that Ajax related their squad a little bit on Thursday, and AZ gave it their all against Tottenham and lost away from home. So yeah, could be a good price.
It is a good price. Assad are winless against top half teams away from home. I've always seen Assad a little bit like I see FC Twente, like a really good home team, and take advantage of any good price you get there. Away from home, less so. I said the same to all my Tottenham supporting friends as well when they met again in the Europa League, and I felt when Assad were clearly the better team in the first leg, I thought 1-0 wasn't quite enough as
Yeah,
it proved to be.
exactly.
They definitely did enough in the game to win by more than that. And I said to my mates that I think that you'll get through. I think you've got away with it tonight. If it had been 2 goals, I think it makes it a different match. And that's just from my feeling that they're not a very strong away team. So, they do seem to beat the lower teams away from home, but don't really beat the bigger teams. So that's what I'm thinking. And Ajax on this good run, does it just keep rolling? The one thing that really puts me off here, actually, is Assad have a winning record, a really big winning record against Ajax. Now, I know, see, this statistic, I don't know what you think of it, like, because sometimes it really means nothing, doesn't it? Because it's different teams, different eras, but there is some weight behind it. And just some teams just do better against other teams. And it doesn't really make sense when you think about it, but it is something.
Yeah, it is the
But Assad,
rivalry as well. If you keep in mind for Ajax, the biggest rival is Feyenoord. But if you ask AZ, who's the biggest rival, it's Ajax. And there are a lot of youth players that move from Ajax to AZ. So AZ is actually at the moment might be the best youth academy setup in Holland, and they are very close to each other. Alkmaar and Amsterdam are very close, and I think AZ even changed their training facilities for the youth setup a little bit even closer to Amsterdam to get more of the players that live in Amsterdam as well. So that might be
Okay.
something behind it as well.
Maybe, and well, I didn't know that. So that's quite a good bit of information. And yeah, as I was saying, the record Ajax haven't won in the league against Azad and since April 21. So literally 4 years ago. There's been 7 meetings since then, and Azad won five and drew two. It's quite a good record against one of the best teams in Dutch history.
Now you made sure I'm staying away from this match. That
Yeah, I think I've talked myself out of it. It was what I looked at when I did my research as well. It was like I was like, oh, I do like this price. They both played away. Was that Ajax were away to
yeah.
Frankfurt this week as well, weren't they? Yeah. So they both played away. Yeah, I don't love it enough. Definitely not. I think we'll stay away. Okay, do you have anything else in the Netherlands, Rob? Anything in the second division, or are we moving on?
No, nothing really in the second division. It's at the moment it's a title chase between three or four teams, and some of them have to play against each other, so it's quite hard to tell where it's going tonight.
Okay, so let's move on to Spain then. And, well, some interesting fixtures, that's for sure. We've got the big one on Sunday night with Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. Obviously, the title race is hotting up, only 1 point separating the three. That's a massive match. Real Madrid, great price. I mean, anytime you get better than even money on Real Madrid, you've got to look at it. Away at Villarreal, though. So that's a difficult one. You've got some other interesting matches. Girona, Valencia. You've got Bill Athletic Club, 2.5 away at Sevilla. Like there's some interesting things there, but I just don't know if I like anything enough. What do you think?
No, me neither. You have the biggest match probably Atletico versus Barcelona. Maybe I have a slight lean on Barcelona in that match because of the Atletico loss. And but then again, I'm not sure about it, so I'm staying clear away from España this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to see something in the Bilbao match that made it good value, but you know what? Like Sevilla haven't been terrible recently neither, so that's why the price is where it is on that. And yeah, like Real Madrid, yeah, they're on my naughty list anyway, Rob, so I shouldn't even be talking about it. But Villarreal, it's a tough one. You do expect Real Madrid to go and win, and it is a good price, but Villarreal capable of beating anyone on their day, and Real Madrid are far from convincing away from home, especially recently. So it's a dodging one again, or
Yeah, I think as well with this season new setup in the Champions League, they play a couple of more matches even, and this is the stage that they are in that moment of time that the teams could get fatigued. Definitely, if you do have a little break to look forward to. So yeah, it's about dodging the. There's definitely gonna be a slip up, but I'm not sure where's it gonna be.
yeah, I think well, there's definitely a slip up somewhere because Barcelona playing Atletico, but with Real Madrid, yeah, you just don't know. Honestly, that it's a really difficult league, and the teams like Villarreal and you Bilbao's and even Sevilla every now and then, they're difficult teams to beat. So staying well away from Espana this weekend. One place I don't think I'm going to stay away from is Germany in the Bundesliga. Some
Okay.
crazy results last week. But this week, I don't know what it is. Again, like a lot of this weekend is just looking at matches, thinking, "Ooh, that's kind of interesting." One game that stood out for me is, and we've spoken a lot about these teams on this pod, is Mainz and Freiburg.
Yep.
Mainz versus Freiburg. This is actually two teams in really good form, both of them. Both of them in good form. And I just both of these teams are kind of the teams that I look at and go, oh, if they're playing at home, you always check out who they're playing, right? So it's one of those where they're both in good form, but Freiburg for me are your typical really good at home, not very good away. And when I looked further into it, even though Freiburg got unbeaten in six and unbeaten in three away, it is again those away teams were St. Pauli, Bochum, and Augsburg. Okay, when they've played anyone decent away from home this season, Freiburg they've lost every single one and convincingly as well. They've lost 5-1, 4-1, 3-1, 4-0, 4-0. These are to teams away from home that are in the top half. Mainz sitting in third place. They're also in fantastic form. Decent home team. I'm just going to edge towards a home team here, even money, although I have just noticed that it slipped. It was 2.05 when I looked at this yesterday. It's now 1.95.
Wow.
So that is one game that I do like. It's back. I don't often back against a team in decent form, which is what Freiburg is, but I just think there's enough mitigating factors there to suggest that, the fixture list has helped them. The most of the really good results have been home rather than away. And I'm liking Mainz. They've done me well this season, Mainz.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on the German matches this weekend. I looked into it and they were all quite close. So I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. But besides that, you're always a little bit more into the Bundesliga. You have a little bit more knowledge about it as well. So trusting your
It's
trusting
just
your
done me okay this year. Bundesliga normally catches me with my pants down most seasons, but that's usually on those more shorter odds that you're putting onto Accas. The value picks this season have actually done quite well. We went through a really good spell with Eintracht Frankfurt. They were good value for a long time. I've stopped backing them since the January transfer window and Mamouche leaving, but they did really well for us. We've had fun with Mainz. Freiburg at home is typically a team that we've made money from. Fading Heidenheim, as anyone that's listened to the pod knows, that's made us a lot of money this season. So yeah, it's a league that I feel like there's decent value, and I think there's one more. And it's Leverkusen away at Stuttgart. And yeah, like Leverkusen, obviously, it's such a disappointing weekend last week for them because of Bayern Munich losing that game. They really could have got back into the race had they won their match, and they lost at home to Werder Bremen. That's disappointing, really. They could have been back in it.
Yeah, they definitely could have been back in it.
It could have been back in it, but you know what? I just don't. I look at this Stuttgart team. They've been rank all season, really. They had a great season last year, didn't they? And then they opened up. I think they got some key injuries, and they're just not being the same team at all this season. It's not to say that they haven't got the odd good result, but generally speaking, they've been pretty poor. And Leverkusen are still unbeaten away from home all season. And I just think when we're getting odds here of what Leverkusen 2.3 to win this match, Stuttgart, I'm going to fade them. They've lost their last three at home as well. Okay, one of them was to Bayern Munich, but they lost at home to Wolfsburg. They lost at home to Mönchengladbach. And Leverkusen with the best away record. Yeah, I'm gonna back them because they still need to win matches. They're out of the Champions League as well. They're 8 points behind. It's not dead and buried yet. There's no way Xabi Alonso is thinking this is dead and buried yet. So they've still got to win matches. They've got to turn their disappointing week around. Yeah, and at 2.3, I'm definitely going to have a nibble on this one.
Okay, let's get Xabi Alonso back to chasing the title.
Yeah, well, certainly he's got to just keep racking those wins up. And yeah, horrible week out of the Champions League and losing at home last week, but they can turn it around. They've still got the quality. So you don't like anything in Germany, no?
No, nothing in particular that I like.
Do you have anything in Italy? Should we move on to Italy?
Yes, Italy is more my cup of tea, to be honest, this
Yeah,
season.
you love your Italy. You love
Yeah.
your Italy. I tell you what, and I'll let you go first. Go on, tell me what you like in Italy this weekend.
Like the big match that I like is Napoli. Like it's might be a bit short, but it seems like a sure thing against Venezia. They have to play on Sunday, the early matchup. Napoli still like they went back to winning ways with that win against Fiorentina last weekend. They're still chasing the title with Inter and Atalanta. So I do think Napoli will get the job done. You could double that up with Roma. Uh, my team, yeah, you know that, huh? We've been backing it a long time. But I do think that now that they've gone out of the Europe League, they need to win those matches to chase for the European spots for next season. Otherwise, they're left out of it. And they're actually in great form. I think they're in the best form in Italy at the moment. If you look at
They
the
are. They
Serie
are
A.
number one.
Yeah, so I think you could double them up for about 2.4, 2.5-ish.
Yeah, I got it 2.35 because funny enough, my notes for Italy says I've got a couple for the Student Acca, Roma and Napoli. Maybe double them up, 2.35. That's exactly what I've got. So we're thinking on the same path on this one, mate.
Yeah, I think that's a decent bet. And if you like, and I like Udinese at home against Verona. And we talked about Udinese, I think, just off the pot when they had to play against Lazio Roma. And it's a season that they've done really well, actually. They lately, out of the last five matches, they didn't lose any and won three out of them. And they don't really have something to play for. They have to have a real good end of the season to qualify for Europe, but besides that, they're actually playing for nothing. Verona is still looking a little bit to the relegation spot. They're now in 15th, and they are in a lot worse form. They lost four out of the last five, and I think you can back Udinese, let me check, for 1.75 at home.
Okay, there's not one I looked at, so that's interesting. Udinese. Rob, are we going to have a conversation about Como? Because
Uh,
Como, I seem to get it wrong most times with Como, whether I'm fading them or backing them. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this team.
No, me neither. It's yeah, we talked about it. I think it's a team that is doesn't play the style of like a relegation team. And maybe that's something to do with Fabregas. And I think they have quite good names, young, good talent players, and they really try to play football. And now AC Milan, what were you thinking about this
But
weekend
what
then?
I'm thinking about is that I think they're going to become my Italian Middlesbrough. And the reason I say that is that Middlesbrough are a team that it doesn't matter whether I back them or back against them. I never win that bet. Over years and years and years. But I've obviously introduced the naughty list or the naughty corner, whatever you want to call it, in terms of certain teams that let you down on more than one or two occasions that you just think, right, they're on my naughty list for the season. But I also have a team that I can't touch full stop ever, and it's Middlesbrough. And I feel like Como are working their way already into that. They're a brand new team on our radar. And I feel like they're a team that are in that stage where I can't touch them. I don't know what to do. They don't lose me money every time I go near them. So, and they're away at Milan this weekend, and I ain't got a clue. I don't know. I have no idea. And Milan are like unpredictable as well, so that is a definitely stay away from match. I think.
Yeah, what would I think? I think AC Milan is still a little bit overrated, and I think Como is gonna get away with something out of that match. So if I need to put a bet on this one, it would be Como or draw. But yeah, definitely even less than a lean.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Como, we'll keep an eye on them. Maybe
What
Fabregas
do you
is
think? So we have to find out
working
next
towards
week.
something.
What?
Say that again.
What do you think the result's gonna be of that match so we can keep a track on it next week?
Going to go. Let me just have a quick look at the sort of matches. Like AC Milan have been good against bottom half teams at home. I am going to go for Milan win. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Milan.
Okay, 1-0 Milan. Then I'm going
And what
for
are you saying? You're
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay. Well, we're not expecting many goals either way. So yeah, like, interesting. Maybe Fabregas is working towards something. Maybe he is. And when it's a little bit like when you play a lot of young players. One week they're amazing, one week they're not. It's a little bit like that, maybe with what he's trying to implement there. Hasn't got all the players that he wants. Probably needs a couple more transfer windows. But I think this is an attractive proposition. He's solidified their position in Serie A for next
Mhm.
season. And I think that they can maybe build towards becoming, a team of the ilk of maybe a Lazio, Fiorentina, something like that. Potentially, that's I imagine where he wants to get them to. No,
Yeah, definitely.
so it's a team that I'm really intrigued by, mainly because of the Fabregas thing. But it's a new team. Obviously, it's such a spectacular place as well. But yeah, it's just I've got a lot of interest, but they're really annoying me on the betting world for them. So yeah, I'm gonna look at them, but without money down.
We have to keep them in mind for next season as well. Maybe they do some nice
Yeah.
transfer budget, transfer business. If they keep hold of this Spanish striker who was really fast and this Argentinian playmaker who was really creative, I have to keep an eye on it. I think the Argentinian guy called Paz and the Spanish guy Diarra, I'm not sure. But yeah, if they keep hold of them and maybe get a new few signings, maybe they could do some real business damage next season.
Indeed, one to keep an eye out on, but I'm definitely not losing any more money for or against them. Let's move on to quickly to Ligue 1. I've got another two teams from Ligue 1 going on the Student Acca, but also another one that you can play a double on. Do you have anything before I
No,
reveal?
not really. No, I have a small lean for Brest.
You took my words out of my mouth.
Okay, so you can enlighten us
We,
on
I,
that
I
bit.
love it when we do, like, just for those listening, right? Me and Rob haven't said a single word to each other all week. Yeah. Sometimes we talk every day, we go back and forth. Sometimes as we're preparing the pod, we send the matches we want to talk about. And then there's other times where we literally don't talk. This week is one of those weeks, right?
I like that
So
actually. I actually like it.
we've not said a word this week, and yet loads of these games we're looking at with the same mind. So I like that more sometimes because definitely no influence. There's definitely no. Oh yeah, I like that one as well. No, this is pure raw. We don't know what we look. We don't know what the other's been looking at. And Brest, I was a bit disappointed when I looked at this Brest match that it wasn't just a little bit higher in
Yeah,
the
that's
price.
true.
I've got it at 1.67. And I was like, oh, this is like, I want to bet on it as a single, but it's just not really there for the value. But it's still nice, isn't it? What did you like about this one?
I think we've talked about Brest quite a lot before the January transfer. They did really well in the Champions League, weren't they? Yeah, they were, right? No, what? I'm second.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They're in Champions League earlier.
I was already, yeah, I was messing up in my mind, but they were really well. And now that's done and over. They 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 had that win last weekend, and I think they really want to get something going now in the league. And now they have the time and the rest that they need, and they have to play against Reims. And actually, it's also partly about fading Reims because they are in a terrible form at the moment with losing. Uh, I'm seeing six matches
Six.
lined up, and they lost five of them.
Six. No, they've lost six in a row, and the last five they didn't even score a goal. The last five, so they're in horrible form.
Yeah.
And Brest, we've spoken a little bit in over this season. They're not the same team, obviously not doing as well as they did last year. But again, it's sometimes solidifying. You're never going to get like following up. They were second nearly all of last season. I've got a feeling they finished third in the end. But anyway, they were top two, weren't they, all season? But they've solidified themselves. It's not like they've got into a relegation fight. They're just mid-table. But what they have still been very good at and consistent at is their home form. And if you remember, we had some conflict, me and you as well, with in the Champions League. I backed them a couple of times, even when their form suggested they shouldn't be, because they've just been a really good home team. And other than the top three, they lost to the top three at home this season. So PSG, Marseille, and Nice. Brest lost at home. Everyone else they're unbeaten to, winning most of them. I think there was two draws in there. They've won everybody else. And Reims, as we spoke about, lost six in a row, haven't scored in five. Yeah, it's one I really like. So I'm just going to double it up with the team of the moment, PSG. Okay, they're playing Marseille, but I'm still going to back PSG. They're just on a great run, and Dembele is like, what the hell? 22 goals since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I also had Paris on my mind, to be honest. And I thought the odds were a little bit short when they had to play against Marseille. But yeah, I Paris is on my mind. The team is really playing well. And if you look at it as well, I look back when they had to play in Europe and what the result was in the following weekend. They're actually doing quite well. So they seem to have enough people to cover and enough quality to always win. So yeah, I actually like this bet as well.
And this is a stand. Like, when you see this match, I don't follow the Liga in any depth, but when you look at this match, you think, well, that's a big one, right? PSG Marseille. Well, PSG have won 8 of the last 10 meetings. They've won the last 6 in a row, and they haven't conceded in the last 5 against them. So they've got a great record in this meeting, and I don't need to look at anything else. I'm just going to be backing PSG right now. They're scoring goals for fun.
Yes, they are.
So that's another double. They're both on the Student Acca. So there's 2 in there from the Italian that you can double up with Roma and Napoli, and there's 2 here with Brest and PSG you can double up. And I think similar odds. I had about 2.41 for the double.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, let's move on. Last week, Rob, you threw something different at me. We normally did a top 5. You threw a little kind of knockout tournament of Arsenal players, and you went for underdogs or legends. I chose the underdogs. I've bought something similar to you today, and it's to do with Liverpool, of course. Okay.
Okay.
But I've separated this. So these are all players that have been in the Liverpool team kind of end of 90s at the latest, yeah, but mostly in the noughties, yeah, or the in the 2000s.
Okay.
So, and I've separated this into 2, so it's a quarterfinals like you did. There's 4 matchups, okay, but the top half of the draw are forwards, and the bottom half of the draw are midfielders, okay. So you're going to have a little playoff with the midfielders, and there's going to be a midfielder in the final and a forward in the final. But I'm really interested to see who wins the matchups before that. Okay, so I'm going to go straight in with potentially the biggest of them all, and it's Mo Salah versus Luis Suarez.
Yeah, Mo Salah. Easy
Yeah,
choice.
definitely. Didn't even think about it.
Easy choice.
I don't know. I was listening. I listened to the Liverpool, because they were doing a little thing like this on the radio, TalkSport Radio, like a couple of weeks ago. And it wasn't just about Liverpool, but it was about legends of different teams. And there was quite a few people that preferred Suarez to Salah when this one came up.
I think what Suarez was in a lesser team, and he did a really good job, definitely in that season. That way, he was like 28 or 29 goals. It was unbelievable how many goals he was scoring. And what I liked he played in Holland for quite a while, right? He played for FC Groningen, then he moved to Ajax, and then after he went to Liverpool. And one of his signature moves is like he doesn't do like all those kind of step overs. Was when he dribbles at a defender, he likes to flick the ball onto the defender, and then he's very quick reaction. He picks up the ball again, and then he passes them. And he does that all the time. He likes to hit them at the feet, and then the ball stays very close to him, and then he makes this move, and then he makes it happen. And I like his mentality in a way that it's all about the winning. Sometimes he overdone himself with this biting incidents. That's yeah, you can't talk. I can't.
Yeah,
It's really bad. But
yeah, it kind of stops him from being like legend status,
yeah,
doesn't it? A little bit with his general
maybe
behaviour.
that's why it's an easy choice for me at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. And look, I think we sometimes we overlook just how good Salah is. Okay, next one. I think I know the answer to this one as well. But interesting, Sadio Mane versus Fernando Torres.
Yeah, for me it's money. But I'm not sure. Like, I think I didn't follow Liverpool so closely back when Fernando Torres came. I, of course, looked back into it and I know the story. They was really good at Liverpool. Um, and after he went for a big money move to Chelsea, was it? That he didn't. And of course, I like my Spanish players. I like the name. I like the style that he does as well. But did you see the documentary about Sadio Mane?
No?
It's really good and he's very humble. So he goes back to his own place where he lives and he actually builds like apartment blocks. And he lives just with his family sitting in like this regular apartment and there are like 15 kids running around him all the time. And he's like celebrated all around and he builds schools and libraries. And if you look at how he lives in England, he lives very not, he doesn't buy these big cars. He doesn't over in the nicest apartment. He does have everything nice, but he likes to spend this money for his country. And that's what I really like about him is the background of his story.
Okay, so we're going to jump straight into the next round on this half of the draw, so the semi-final. So him against Salah.
Yeah,
Still
Salah.
Salah?
Yep.
Still
Salah
Salah.
for me.
There's a lot of people as well that think that last season there was a real drop off without him, you know. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's hard,
money.
especially with how Salah is right now. I do think that it's hard to look past him in any way, no?
Exactly. First, you were thinking like Mane really was more important than everyone thought he was. The way he's playing this year, Salah, definitely makes him definitely if they win the title. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay if they win the title, right? What do you think? I'm not sure. We'll see.
I think he's offered. I don't know. There's a bit of me that thinks if he gets offered a 3-year contract to stay, I think he stays. I think the thing with Liverpool, they're a well-run club, and I think a well-run club doesn't offer a plus 30-year-old player more than 1 year, maybe 2 years max. But so I think that's the issue, and I think that he potentially will go regardless. And I think his reaction when you lost the other night seemed like it was his last opportunity to win it. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm not 100% convinced. I think if Liverpool offered him what he wants, he'll stay, regardless if they win or not.
I think they
But
should.
yeah, we'll wait to see that. Okay, let's go down to the bottom half then and see who Salah will face in the final. But before we get there, we've got Mascherano versus Jordan Henderson.
Oh, ah, that's tough because Henderson is making this big drop off in my mind because he's playing for Ajax at the moment and he's not like very convincing. But back in the days, I liked him as his
Captain, mate,
captain
captain,
and they
captain.
work great. Yeah, I have to choose Henderson in this one, to be honest. I have to choose the
Okay.
true Liverpool player. So yeah, Henderson.
Stevie G versus
DVG,
Xabi Alonso.
DVG.
Xabi Alonso, not even a thought. for him,
There's
no?
no discussion there, to be honest. And then the semi-final will be real quick as well. Steve and
Yeah,
Gerrard.
Stevie
Yeah.
G beating Henderson. That's not a difficult one. I thought I thought there would have been more of a conversation with Gerrard versus Alonso, but okay. And then Gerrard obviously beats Henderson. But so what does it truly come down to
Wow.
between two legends, Salah versus Stevie G?
Yeah, that actually is quite hard. And then I think after the season, that question will be a little bit harder because Salah seems to win silverware, or at least more silverware than Steven Gerrard did. But I have to go with Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, the winner.
Wow, I'll be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a Dutch Liverpool fan, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting you to see Stevie G in the same way as the Scouse Liverpool fan. I don't know why I thought that. I thought that you could potentially pick Alonso firstly, and I never thought you'd pick Salah in front of Gerrard.
Ah, I do.
Sorry, I never thought you'd pick Gerrard instead of Salah.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard, man. Steven Gerrard, like imagine being one of the best players and playing in a team that doesn't play for trophies all the time as they should. But yeah, no, Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard for me, the winner.
My God. Okay. Well. Okay. So Stevie G, the winner. I'm not
I hope
surprised,
I
but I
did the
am surprised.
Liverpool fans proud. I hope I never didn't let them down. Let me know if you think anything else.
Yeah, look, please write in. Any Liverpool fans listening out there, was that the right call? I think so. I think like definitely. I just thought that you being more European and international, you might see a bit different and value the ball playing and unbelievable passing of a Xabi Alonso. What I would have killed to have him in an Arsenal team once upon a time when we were linked with him. I love him as a player, but yeah, Stevie G is an out and out legend. Out
Exactly.
and out legend. Okay, let's move on to the Accas. Rob, unbelievable that Bayern Munich let us down last week. Like I say, you would have cashed in had you had the 2 goals up. What have you got for us this week with the Big Gun Acca?
I actually do have the 2 goals up now. They changed it now. They like
Oh, so you cashed in. Perfect. Because
I
I
cashed
normally just
in.
assume you've lost, but they've changed it, right?
Yeah, I think more and more bookies are doing that promotion because of otherwise everyone goes to bet 365. So I actually
Exactly.
saw it on a couple of bookies that they do it, and sometimes they don't do it in every league, but yeah, definitely in the German Bundesliga. So I cashed in on that one. For this
Nice.
week, I'm going for a short one. It's a treble. I'm going for Galatasaray, Bayern München, and Benfica. And
Okay.
find this threefold for 2.31.
Very international. I like it.
Yeah, it was tough, slim pickings to be honest, for like the real big clubs playing at home against the smaller teams. So I had to go ways across Europe to find some in Turkey. Galatasaray is really need those wins to keep in front of Fenerbahce. They had a little bit of a drop off, won again last weekend. And the same goes for Benfica. They're in the title race with Sporting. And Bayern München, we talked about it quite a lot, and I think they should get the win against Union Berlin. What's the Student Acca?
Okay. Student Acca is a sixfold. But Student Acca was actually, we had that beastly one last week. It wasn't a million miles away, but it was killed quite early because we had Como on
Yeah.
it, and they let in a last minute equaliser.
Oh my God.
And the rest, there was only one other one that let down, I think. It was they all came in other than that. There was one more. So 6 of the 8 won, and it was a beastly one, but it was over before it started, if you know what I mean. But there were some good shouts on there that came in. So yeah, quite frustrating. We didn't get a bit further down the road with it. This week's a bit shorter. It's a sixfold at 11.36. Mostly teams we've discussed already. So we've got the Roma and Napoli, which is an Italian double that you can just break down as a double as well. We've got the Brest and PSG French double as well. And then we've got Nottingham Forest, which we spoke about, and Go Ahead Eagles.
I like
That
it.
is the sixfold, 11.36.
That's gonna be the one. I feel it. I feel it in my.
It looks nice, I have to say. On paper, I really like that one, but that's
I'm
because
gonna
I'd
put it
already
down
like.
after this spot. I'm gonna put it down after this spot myself. I'm gonna put three
So
on
yeah,
this one.
there's our Accas. What's going to be your bet of the week, though?
Ooh, my bet of the week. Let me check what I've written down. I'm going for bet of the week. Wow, that's gonna be Nottingham Forest.
It
Then
has to be.
it has to
It
be.
has to be. And if I ever had the choice first, I would also choose Nottingham Forest because I
Yeah,
think it's
let's
the
go for that
stand.
one.
It's the standout. It's the standout price for what it is. There's a lot I like this weekend, as we've just literally discussed over the last hour. But like, it's not like a lot of them are kind of feelings leans, like it's not nothing like statistically amazing. But I think the Forest one is the standout one for value and the form of the two teams. What is going to be my bet of the week?
Oh, you can go
I
Nottingham as well. Oh no, you don't want
No,
to go
no.
there.
Let's make it different. I mean, I definitely would make that bet of the week, generally speaking, but I am going to go with the French double, Brest and PSG, 2.41.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Let's go with that. So there's our bets of the week. That brings us to the end of the pod. I'll just do a quick recap, Rob. So let me get my breath for it. So we've got Nottingham Forest. The first one we spoke about, the bet of the week for Rob, would be my bet of the week. Even money away at Ipswich. We really like that one. I have a lean towards Everton, but this is more about the Moyes factor. That's a lean at 2.05. Rob liked Wolves 2.10, 2.10. I also liked it, and I think I got convinced more and more that we spoke about it. We both like that Wolves to win. Then there's some interesting matches in Holland, but in the end, I felt like there was probably too much doubt to really go heavy on anyone. So, but I do like FC 20 to beat unproven Van Persie at 2.20. And Rob also likes the goals play on this one. You can have FC 20 to win and under 3.5 at 2.05, or just go for the under 2.5 on its own at 2.05 as well. We didn't really like anything in Spain, but in Germany, I like Mainz at 2.0, even money, and Leverkusen to turn around their horrible week at 2.30. In Italy, Rob had Udinese at 1.75. And we've broken down the Student Acca with an Italian double, Roma and Napoli at 2.35. And in France, Brest and PSG at 2.41. That does bring us to the end of the pod. Rob, where can people find us?
Wow, 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 wow. What a recap. What a recap. I think if people are not interested in listening to the whole episode, they should definitely double down on your recap. On point.
That's probably what people start doing, though, Rob. They're probably just like listen to the first minute, think, let's just go to the end and listen to that recap. But
Yeah,
that's
but
fine to do, by the way, guys, if you're in a rush.
no worries, no worries. We're glad with all listeners. And people can find us actually on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Apple Podcasts. There you can listen to our podcast. We really love for you to subscribe and comment on them as well. And you can find us across all other platforms as well, like X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Just type in the betting connection and you'll find us.
Okay, guys, have an amazing week. If, like me, you're home alone and you can do whatever you want, do it. Put some bets on, watch some football, whatever you do, have fun. Ciao for now.
Happy betting.